I am not okay with this. And let me just make one thing perfectly clear. It is not the ending I am complaining about. Hell, the ending actually was the only thing I liked about this chapter. Yes, I like the fact that the prisoners are okay, but there is one thing here that I am not okay with, which makes this chapter a lot more shallow in my mind, since I have a shallow mindset. So this is why I'm actually reviewing this One Piece chapter of 1007. Oh no, sorry, 1007. 1007, whatever. It's me, the Angry and found the Despair reviewer. Although I mostly just review Eden Zero nowadays, I only occasionally review other mangas if there's something I want to rant about. And this time I want to rant about this chapter. Because, Uda, you are once again just making it even more clear that you hate Sanji. Yes, Sanji was not in this chapter, but now you're giving the guy who is not even supposed to be on a level of a commander, this movement? Okay, look, I get it. He's gonna fight Dark Q one day, and Dark Q is a commander. So, but the thing is, when that destiny happens, that will be different! Because that is meant to be. I am not okay with this. So what happens in this chapter? Well, first of all, it is mostly... The easiest way to describe it is that all the virus is finally cured. Now, at least that hassle is out of the way. But also the Mimigari and as well as some, ninjas have all been defeated by Hyogoro, who is prepared to be prepared to be cut off as he's being infected. As well, elsewhere, a lot of the beast pirates begins to demand from Queen on why are they all gonna die. And like the verbal asshole that he really is, Queen just outright says to them that the pleasureist deserves to die because they got the short end of the sticks, therefore they're nothing good but laughing. And the waiters were supposed to wait for smile fruits, but now they can no longer get any smile fruits, therefore they are forever weak. So in a way, he's just basically telling them what everybody has felt about them. They are trash, and beyond everything else. Although it's very noting that this is also still a very kick the dog moment for it all. As Queen just further says that only the Almighty is in the Beast Pirates, and you guys are easy to replace. And as well as the virus gets better, he even begins to mock Chopper, but not his medical expertise. He mocks him for saying that he's a pirate and a pirate's job is treachery. You know, I'm noticing a trend here. Kaido is very adamant in saying that a pirate's alliance, whatever, is always something of a treachery. And granted, he's not wrong. We have seen treachery, and we have seen some twisted pirates, but the fact that even Queen, a guy who basically serves a guy who's so afraid of that, makes me just wonder. I mean, they are basically sprouting all kinds of crap like that is treachery, that. And I'm not saying they're wrong. I'm just saying that it's kind of ironic that they are the ones who's betraying other people and then say that other people will betray them. For me, that is just an extremely nihilistic and straw-like view. But of course, Chopper finds the virus and... wait, when I think about it, did Chopper just stop... did Chopper just stop Sword Slash with his hoof? Well, either way, he found the... Everyone keeps calling him Tanuki, or maybe he stopped him with his own sword, I don't care. Either way, he finds the gas and his assistants fire off the things. They even create their own Chopper-like gas. Chopper's phage neutralizer, it is called, or something like that. And with it, all the ones who have been infected are immediately cured. And he says he analyzed the virus and synthesized his own based on the methods. And of course, Queen is just how did he attain that well? And well, you know, now I'm getting back to the Sanji moment. It is it is actually quite ironic. We're getting some small moments of Chopper just confirming that he was on a medical island and got a lot of different skills. While Sanji fought for 2 years, and we haven't even, and we've only seen one Attaku scene. I'm just saying, this is so unfair. And so, of course, he says this regular things that viruses shouldn't be used for weapon. In a way, and also a lot of people are pointing out that this should actually make sense because Queen is everything Chopper hates. A scientist who's using viruses for, well, he's using his medical expertise for evil. And that is the kind of person Chopper hates the most. It's just that still, there's so much about Queen's character that makes him the perfect opponent for Sanji because he's everything Sanji hates. Either way, everyone thanks the Tanuki as Chopper chews down on a rumble ball and finally just screams, "I am not a Tanuki," entering his monster point and slaps a Queen's face. Enough to make him bleed. And everyone just says, "Oh, we're sorry." So yeah, this is meant to be a comedic scene. It is meant to be a comedic scene. Cover your ears. Take off your earphones and lower your volume. Because I'm going to scream now. 3, 2, 1. He made Queen bleed. Chopper, a guy who is not a commander level pirate, who's someone who only should fight father, just entered Monster Point and made Queen bleed. Are you freaking kidding me? That doesn't make any sense. It doesn't. It makes no sense. Do we... Come on now, people. This is the biggest clue of all that Sanji is hated by Uda. Why am I bringing up Sanji when he is not even in the chapter? Because Chopper has always been designated to fight those kind of opponents that is not in his league. And yes, he has won, and that is good, but he's still fighting the weaker members, among the weakest members. Yes, the CP9 guy wasn't weak, but if you thought about that, he only won on a technicality. And yes, his monster point is immensely strong. It is almost so strong that I'm almost suspecting that it's an incomplete awakening form. And if it is that, then damn, that will be strong. Will Chopper awaken his devil fruit? Well, for once, I do not like Chopper, but I would actually not mind that. Only because we need to find out exactly what the secret behind Soen awakenings really are. But still, this is a guy with 1 billion bounty. And Chopper just slapped him hard enough to make him bleed. A freaking dinosaur. It is so freaking unfair. It is so making not sense. I was kind of hoping Sanji would just pop in here and save the day, but nah, that's not what's gonna happen. It's true that Chopper can only fight in his monster port for 3 minutes and then he will be down. So, but if he sincerely becomes Queen's opponent and fight, I will rant even more. I don't care how much Queen is the kind of opponent that, Chopper hates. He's just as much as that for Sanji. Oh, also, and by the way, the Pleasures protected Chopper because they're grateful for him. So this is just further throwing in the face of the Beast Pirates. Kindness can show a great deal. And look, I'm not mocking Chopper for curing the virus. In fact, that's one of his strongest points. Kindness is the Straw Hat's strongest points. I'm just extremely pissed off that a guy who is so weak as Chopper is supposed can damage a billion guy. And because the only big commander I want him to fight is Doc Q, no one else. So we'll see what happens. What happens in the rest of the chapter? Well, first of all, we still have Momonosuke and his doubt effect. Everyone keeps praising himself, what he hates himself. Look, I'm not. Look, I'm hating on Momonosuke a lot. I don't like the fact that he is a kid, but I also pity him a little bit. And no, not because he's weak, but because he is a kid. People are looking up to him too much, like he is Odin. He cannot be Odin. He can only be himself. And it is still the fact that people are demanding him so much from him and expecting so much from him when he knows he is weak. He knows he's weak, but he hates that he's weak. That's what makes him a lot of a more saddened character, because he's just the kind of guy that wish he was strong. He's aware of how weak he is, but also is that why do I have to be surrounded by such strong people when I am not even aging and so being so helpless? So in a way, that what makes Momo a very sensitive one. And strangely enough, he's not blushing anymore in Yamamoto's chest. Yes, I mean, I don't know what gender Yamamoto classifies Yamamoto's as, but for Momonosuke, that would have been a woman's body. But it seems that it doesn't really matter. Either way, he transforms into an eel. And eel, did I say that? In his dragon form again. But the reason why I said eel is it's worth noting that Yamamoto is saying the exact thing that Luffy has said, an eel. Yamamoto's father is freaking Kaido, and Yamamoto thought that was an eel. This just further increases Yamamoto for Straw Hat theory, because this just shows that Yamamoto has a similar mindset to Luffy. Granted, Yamamoto has had some pretty odd quirks, although it may not be quirks, it just may be identity, but yeah, guess the theory is just getting stronger. Also, then we switch back to the CP0, who actually brings up a very interesting point that we all know. We all know that it's Momono who ate Vegapunk's artificial devil fruit. And from what we heard, it's a failure. But the leader of the CP0 is actually bringing up that once upon a time they captured Kaido, which was actually the time when Vegapunk was serving the government or whatever. And it appears here that Vegapunk could synthesize the devil fruits by studying the lineage factor of Kaido. That is a little bit interesting, because how can he study Kaido's lineage factor if Kaido has such unbreakable skin? Never mind. Either way, he somehow studied Kaido and synthesized an artificial devil fruit, and that is why the devil fruit, the artificial devil fruit that Momo has, is similar to the Ryuryu no Mi model Azure Dragon or Seiryu, because it is meant to be a perfect reflection of that fruit. Granted, it's not exactly perfect, but it's worth noting that they're saying something interesting here. The government wanted that fruit, but Vegapunk ruled it a failure. Of course, the others wonder how that's relevant, but it's just that the CP0 guy is bringing up that it's fortunate it was a failure. Okay, Oda, you are saying something to us here. You are saying something to us here. What are you saying? If Momo's artificial devil fruit is, is meant to be a replica of the Ryuryu no Mi model Seiryu, then are you basically saying that the power of that fruit should be equal to the original fruit? Is that what you are saying, Oda? I mean, I will have nothing against that. I don't like Momo, and I want to see him as adult with an adult voice, not as a kid. But are you implying that the fruit is a lot more successful than we think about? Because this seems to imply that Vegapunk has lied from what we have seen of that devil fruit. Yes, there has been a lot of implications that equally imply that Momo's artificial fruit is a failure, just as much as it is not a failure. It is not a smile fruit. If it was, then he would have a an animal sticking out of his belly or whatever, something like that. However, he's not smiling either, so which means that it's that not had that effect. And they studied it directly. It's and the sad things has been called well, what is that word? An incomplete. I mean the sad effect. So what I'm trying to say here is it possible that Vegapunk lied? It wasn't a failure. It's just that the government wanted that fruit, so he made it so it was a failure. Granted, Momo seems to switch between that form every now and again in strong emotional distress, which implies that the fruit is actually ruled by his emotions. But as we all know, the power of feelings are powerful, and I am not mocking that, okay? Do not mock it. But this seems to suggest it's like that case. Because if it is a failure, then it's a failure because Momo seems to have a hard time controlling when he wants to enter that form and when he does not want to enter that form. But it could just be his age, and he's not aware of it yet. But either way, Uda, you're throwing something in us that either Vegapunk lied, which I actually honestly believe he does, because I do not think he wants to work for the government. I believe everything he done anything else. But this also seems to bring up an interesting thing about the pacifistas. Why do they all look like Kuma? Well, they may have been built to become like Kuma, but what if it is possible that Vegapunk studied the lineage factor of Kuma and did that as a base to build the pacifistas? Yes, he turned Kuma into a pacifista and probably used that as a leverage of it all. But there's still no explanation on why the pacifistas just look like Kuma. They are said to be corpses. So I'm just saying, he must have used some kind of interest in his lineage factor to do all this. And either way, the chapter ends with one thing that I think a lot of people will have a bigger problem with than Chopper, and that's the fact that the scabbards are treated, and they're saying they did not see who treated them, but they said that that it was someone they didn't really think they could recognize. And as Kinemon declares that they have to still fight, which I like. Suddenly, the person who allegedly saved him enters, and he says, "I was hoping our paths would cross again. You've aged quite a bit." And who is it? He doesn't have the same swords, but it's none other than Odin. And I think this is where a lot of people are going to have a problem with. Not the fact that Chopper bitch slapped a commander, but only because for some reason Odin is there. Oda, don't toy with me. Look, I will be happy if Odin is alive, but we saw him. He was shot into a pedal, fell into a boiling liquid, and he was smiling. And are you telling me he lived? Nah. Or are you telling me this is some kind of troll? Please, Oda, for the love of God, if this is a troll, yes, show us it. Quit giving us these kind of trolls. It just makes things painful. Is this Onimaru in his transformation? Or is this really is Odin? Then the biggest question is, okay, how did he survive? Because the person who treated them, it did not look like Odin. It looked like Toki or Hiyori. But if Odin is alive, I mean, why not? I mean, let's just say for argument's sake, this is Odin. What if Toki is also alive? Either way, people are not gonna like this final scene. I liked it. It was the only thing I liked about this chapter. The rest is nothing but pure, unfiltered rage. Chopper should not have the power to bitch slap a commander level. Also, there is a break next week, so yeah. Let's see the theorists have a fun with this one. Give me your thoughts if you have any. Like and subscribe if you want.